First time I made this, I was like, man, that was perfect. How in the world did I do that? Hey y'all.
Hey.
Today we're making cheese.
It's cheese day.
We have perfected the mozzarella.
It's really
it is,
good.
yeah.
It's the best ever.
I'm so excited because it is easy,
super excited,
fast, and delicious.
Yes.
So
I'm gonna skim cream.
Around. Yeah.
A lot of cream while he's making cheese. So hang out with us while we go about our business.
Yes. Okay. I'm getting ready to make cheese, but first of all, check this out. It's the new stove.
I like that it's white. It brightens up.
Yeah, it must make it a lot brighter in here. So anyway, if y'all saw our last video, y'all know that we had issues with the stove catching on fire. Could have been really bad. There were flames licking up to like almost this height from the bottom of it. But nobody got hurt except for the stove. It is now in the junk pile to be hauled for scrap later on this winter. And we have a replacement. Thank you for blessing us with a stove, y'all. So, you know who you are. So I'm gonna make cheese. The things I need for cheese making: gloves for stretching the cheese. These are insulated rubber gloves, that way I don't burn my hands.
They're insulated to stretch up to like 190 degrees or something.
Yeah, I don't remember. They're Harbor Freight gloves. They were like $7 or $8. They're the same type of gloves, not the same gloves, but the same type of gloves I use for scalding chickens. I don't use the same gloves to stretch cheese that I scald chickens with, though, because that would be gross.
These are for cheese stretching.
Yes, clean sanitary gloves. I need a thermometer. I need a skimmer. I have 1/8 of a teaspoon of rennet per gallon of milk. Oh, no, Jenna says 1/4 teaspoon of rennet.
Diluted in a quarter cup of
water. How much of this citric acid do I have?
1.5 teaspoons per gallon of milk.
1.5 teaspoons per gallon of milk.
And
1 teaspoon of salt per gallon of milk. And I know that's correct.
And it's to taste. That's how we like it.
That's to taste. That's how we like it, yeah. So, some people like to dissolve their rennet their citric acid in water first. We have found you don't have to. The milk has to be at least 55 degrees to put the citric acid in. So this milk is fresh milk from the cow right now. So I just add this, just sprinkle it straight in. Just like that. I'm going to give it some stirs. When you're stirring cheese, you stir gently and pull from the bottom up.
Up and down motion.
Up and down. And here in a minute, you'll probably see these little stringy things start to form. They usually start forming fairly quickly. Look, see them? On the skimmer there? That's just acidifying the milk. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Jenna knows all the technical terms. I just know how to do it. But I'm going to make the cheese since she's going to be skimming cream. I've got the citric acid in. Now I've got to heat this up to 90 degrees. So I've got my thermometer in there. I'm watching. I turn my eye on. So once this hits 90 degrees, then I add the rennet.
Turn off the heat.
Turn off the heat, add the rennet, and let it sit for
10 minutes.
10 minutes, yes. I forgot one thing I needed: the knife to cut the curds with for here in just a minute. So now I'm at 90 degrees, and I'm going to add the rennet. The rennet goes in, just kind of pour it around. Then I get my skimmer, and I gently stir. Y'all can see things are happening from the citric acid where it's just acidifying the milk. And turn the heat off, adding the rennet now. And this sits for 10 minutes, is that right? Yep. This is going to sit for 10 minutes, and it will be a solid chunk of gelled looking milk. It'll look like milk jello here in a minute.
A big curd.
It'll be a curd, but it's going to look like milk jello. So when we get to that point, I will bring you back and show you. All right, look at this. We have milk jello. See how it pulls away from the sides? It's actually just the curd is set. So now that we've done this, the curd is set, I'm going to cut this. So I slide the knife. This is our bread knife. I just slide the knife down in, all the way to the bottom, drag it across, and back up. And I do this all the way across. making was really hard. But it turns out, at least mozzarella this way is super simple and super tasty.
It's not so technical. So your curds are very forgiving with mozzarella because you're going to meld them together and they're going to stretch. This would not work well at all if you were doing another type of cheese, like a hard cheese, but for mozzarella, it works great.
So I've cut it this way and this way. Now I'm just going to reach the knife in and cut just a few of them this way. You can see this is whey. See the translucent liquid that's coming out is starting to release from the curd. That's the whey. I don't know if this is necessary, it's just what I do. I think it helps. And once this is done, this is my last cut, I'm going to put this in the sink, add the thermometer back in, the lid back on, and we are going to heat this to 105. After I heat it to 105, I'm going to gently stir the curd for anywhere between 2 and 5 minutes. I think I usually go around 3.5. But
the more you stir, the firmer your curd will become. Your drier your cheese will be.
Yeah, and we like it to be not super dry because we like the stretch. And just the way we've been doing it, it turns out just the way we like it. So we're sticking with what's working for us. The first time I made this, I was like, man, that was perfect. How in the world did I do that? And I really thought it was just a fluke. I thought I had accidentally made good cheese because it was so simple. So I thought, well, we'll do it again. So a few days later, we put the milk straight in the pot, and I did it, and it turned out the exact same way, maybe even better, because the first time I used wooden spoons to stretch it, and the last time I used these gloves. We went and got these gloves. So
we've made mozzarella, but we've always done cultured mozzarella, which is a huge long process, and it's hit or miss whether it turns out. So that's why with like this fast cheese, we're like, I can't believe how easy it is, because we've done like this 8-hour long process, and it's a lot of steps. So that's why we're like, oh,
yeah, we've made mozzarella, but just not this quick, this easy, and it's turned out every time so far. So
yeah,
it's very forgiving. It's way easier than I expected it to be. All right, we got 105, and now I'm gonna stir the curds. You can see a lot of this whey has been released. So watch as I stir. See, everything is just kind of doing its thing now. It's crazy. So basically, I just kind of gently stir this for 2.5 minutes.
Break up some of those curds.
To break the curds up, yep, which releases more whey. And we have a lot of whey left after this, and we've been using it like to feed the pigs. We ferment the pig feed and the chicken feed with it. I guess there are a lot of uses. You can use it to acidify, like if you're going to soak beans or oats or something, you can use it as the acid to break down the phytic acid in them. But we're going to have gallons of whey left. So this looks like it's going to make a ton of cheese. But what I've been ending up with is about 5 pounds, a little over 5 pounds, around 5.5-ish out of the 7 gallons of milk that we're using. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how much pounds you'll get per gallon. And the reason we're using the fresh milk is because the cream hasn't separated yet. And they say, I don't know, but we've read that if you use milk that's been sitting where the cream is separated, then it doesn't fully reincorporate back into the milk. So you get a higher yield with a higher fat cheese, I think, by using the fresh milk straight from the cow. So there's a few things that we kind of have foregone on this, like the milk. The recipe says the milk needs to be 55 degrees when you add the citric acid, which would require us to cool the milk back down, to 55. And I said, well, I'm just going to try it without doing that and just add it straight in, and it's worked perfectly 2 times now. So I have to assume that works.
Yeah. And this is a recipe you can use pasteurized store-bought milk. So if you want to make cheese and you don't have your own cow or access to raw milk, you can use store-bought milk and make mozzarella as well. So
exactly.
You don't have to look at this and see us using all this milk, and you can do it with 1 gallon of milk or 2 gallons or whatever. You don't have to be like, well, I don't have a cow, I can't do this. You really can. You can do this at home.
Yeah, if you did 2 gallons of milk, you should end up with over a pound of cheese, I would say.
Yeah.
So,
Enough
and
to
then
make
you can
pizza.
use your whey for other things. Okay, so I've stirred it for like about 3.5-ish minutes. Now I have to pull out all of the curd. As I'm scooping this out, I dropped the clump. Put that in there. So as I'm scooping this out, this is filling with whey because the whey continues coming out and it's clogged up. So I just ever so often pull this away, and you can hear it draining into that bucket underneath. Just keep on doing that, because all of this cheese right here is going to fit into this when it's all done, once all the whey is removed. So it's just it's a process of getting all the whey extracted from the cheese right now.
All the way out.
All the way out. All right, so I have enough curd out of this to where I could pour off some whey. I've poured this whey into a clean stainless bowl, and I'm reserving it for when I finish getting all of the curd out of here. Then I can have some good, fresh, clean whey to heat up, and we'll heat that whey up to 180 degrees, put the curd back in, and then I'll start stretching it. So once I get to that point, I'll show you. I've got the whey poured back in the pot from the bowl that I had reserved. I've got the thermometer in. I'm going to heat it back up to 100, or heat it up, not back up. Heat it to 180 degrees. Then I'll put all the curd that we have here. Do you want to show them the curd, babe?
Yep, they can see it.
Oh, put all this curd back into here, put my gloves on, and start stretching. The last thing we'll do is add the salt into it, and then we'll work the salt in, then put it back into this cheese mold, wrap it up, put it in the refrigerator or the freezer to chill down. Then after that, it's time to eat it. Okay, so this was full to overflowing a while ago, this strainer, and then we had this one that was full to the top. So I worked these curds a little bit to get some of the whey out, and they shrunk down, and then I poured this cheese that was full in here on top. And you can see just the weight of it is pressing the whey out of the curds underneath, and it's running out. So what I do is I just constantly am pulling this back a little bit to let the whey release, letting it go out, and it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller, the amount of curd that I have. Like I said, in the end, I expect all of the curd, all of this right here, to fit into here. Okay, y'all, we're at 180 degrees with this whey. You need to set these maybe right here. And check out this curd. Remember, it was humped up to like right in there somewhere. Now it's shrunk down, and it's going to be even less than this. But this is what I'm going to start with. So I'm just putting this gently into the whey. Do not let it plop because it will splash on you. So that's where we are right there. Since I've got that in there now, I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. Then I'm just going to start working this curd. I'm going to kind of break it up right now so we can work the rest of the whey out, and the heat can get dispersed throughout all of the cheese to get it kind of melty. These gloves are so much faster for this, y'all. So I just gonna and then I smash it together and just start pulling on it. Look, it's starting to get a little bit stretchy already. So I just keep on working it. Just press it together. I'm just kind of folding it, almost kneading it like dough at the moment. Then as it starts to get melty, I'll start pulling it to stretch it. Slide it over that way. You can see it starting to clump back together from where I broke it up. Basically, we're just getting all the cheese warmed up some to make it melty. Or at least that's what I'm doing. There could be other things happening scientifically that I don't understand, but in my mind, this is what's happening. Let's see if we're getting ready to stretch any yet. It's almost there. Not quite. Just keep working it and kneading it and letting that warm whey get worked throughout it. All right, y'all, I've been kneading this cheese for probably 3 minutes or so, 2 or 3 minutes, and it's starting to get more melty and more stretchy. You can see when I grab it up, instead of just breaking apart now, it's starting to get more stretchy. I'm just going to keep on doing this, and eventually it's going to start getting really smooth and shiny as it stretches. And that's when we'll know it's done and good, and it'll be good and chewy and stringy. When you take a bite of your pizza will be here and the cheese will be strung across.
Yep. And we did turn the heat back on a little bit, so it just depends on your stove, what kind of stove you have. If your whey cools off too much, you might need to turn it back on a little bit. On the flat top, I don't think we had to do that. It kind of held the heat better, but this is a coil top, so I think that's why we had to do that.
Yeah, air can get up underneath it and cool it down.
So if it feels like it's not stretching anymore very well, it might be that your whey has cooled off too much.
See how it's just getting more clumpy and more stretchy?
Mm-hmm.
And there, a clump broke off.
Kind of let gravity help you with it.
Yep. Let it just kind of stretch. I'm going to keep doing this and I'll show you when it gets the consistency that I need it to be. You'll see right now how it's all kind of chunky and stuff. It'll start getting a very smooth texture. Alright, I've been stretching and kneading this cheese for a while now. You can see it's a lot smoother texture now and much more stretchy than it was before. See how it's still going to fall, but that's normal. So you can see how stretchy it is now. Everything is clumped together. This is just a big wad of mozzarella cheese. So I'm going to come over to here, put it in our bowl, add some salt. Again, this is the teaspoon per gallon of milk.
Per gallon, not per pound of cheese.
Yes, per gallon of milk. And this is the pink Himalayan salt that we use. Then I'm just going to knead this in.
And the salt draws out more whey as you knead it.
Yep, and you can see how much slicker and shinier it's getting right now. Just want to work the salt, see how much stretchier it is now. It's more like a bread dough right now than it was before. So we've got this pretty much done. I'm just going to continue to work it and work the salt into it good. I mean, it's basically just like kneading bread as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm no cheese making expert, but I can make some good cheese. So there it is. That's probably going to be a tick over 5 pounds of mozzarella cheese. I just stick it straight over here. Remember how I said that all of it will probably fit in the cheese press basket? There it is. I've worked up a sweat. So I put probably I had about this much whey in here when I started stretching the cheese. Now I've got this much, so that much more has been extracted out of that. But that is a beautiful block of cheese. We're gonna weigh this and see how much it is. It'll be whatever it weighs less the weight of the cheese mold, which is probably just a couple of ounces.
Oh, it's on. I didn't change the units. There we go. Yep.
5 pounds, 4 ounces.
So 5 1/4 pounds.
So I'm gonna call that.
We'll pull the cheese out and we can weigh the mold.
Yeah, we'll do that. Let's do that really quick. So we were at 5 pounds, 4 ounces. That's 3.3 ounces. So 5 pounds and 7/10 of an ounce of cheese.
So roughly 5 pounds of cheese is what we get out of 7 gallons of milk.
Yep.
Yep. That's exciting. It's
wanna
not
have
quite
a
as
little
pretty
taste.
now that you're mixing it. How is it?
It's terrible. I don't think you want to try it.
I do.
We tuck that back in.
That's really good. Now we gotta make more pizza.
Or calzones.
Oh yeah. That's it. Super simple.
Super simple cheese.
Super delicious.
Super tasty. Super pretty.
Oh my my toes because I'm wearing sandals. He just dripped it way all over me.
Yes, the
Cool.
chickens will be licking them with their
That's
chicken
weird.
tongues.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate y'all. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a video. Give us a thumbs up so YouTube will know that you're enjoying this. Please comment below. Let us know what you think of our cheese and if you've made cheese before or maybe we inspired you to try making cheese. And we'll catch you on the next one.
See y'all later.